I mean, this happened in spring training, going like, what, a week into spring training?
It was his second at bat. He had 2 at bats, and he hurt himself in a second at bat.
So he has to go through a whole regimented spring training again. This isn't like a 2-week absence, Stacey. He's going to be gone for what, till mid-May?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, it's the last Friday before the regular season.
Yep, we're almost there. We're a week away. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. On today's show, we're going to show you some scrumptious food items that are going to be at Yankee Stadium this season. My mouth's already watering thinking about them, but we have to wait till segment 3 for that. But before we show you all those really good food items, it's Fanmail Friday. If you're new to the show, we do Fanmail Friday every week. Our listeners / viewers will ask us questions. We answer them to the best of our ability. And we always start with our Locked On Yankees insiders, and we always start with Betty. And Betty says on this last Fanmail Friday of spring training, more of a comment than a question, but isn't Aaron Hicks also unsigned at this point? He and Verdugo are about equal, in my opinion. Neither of them are worth a darn as a player. And she put a funny emoji. Now, to be fair, the news of Alex Verdugo signing with the Braves did not come out until Thursday. Betty submitted this question on Wednesday. If you didn't hear the news, he signed with the Braves for $1.5 million. And I'm just glad that all of those glowing comments that the Yankees made didn't mean that he was going to be like that. The Yankees at the last second were going to reach out to him and be like, hey, you want to come for like a 1 year? So I'm just glad the Braves did that.
Yeah, turns out all you got to do is have the Yankees players say a couple nice things about you, and that's the easiest way to make them $1.5 million in the world. Good for Alex Verdugo. Damn.
Yeah.
Aaron Hicks, I didn't even realize this. Because I was going to say to Betty, I don't think Aaron Hicks played last year, so that kind of changes a little bit of things. Aaron Hicks appeared in 18 games last year for the Los Angeles Angels.
Mm-hmm.
I do not remember that. So if you do, congrats to you. News to me.
He was terrible. 57 at bats, 1 home run. He batted 140, and his B WAR, baseball reference WAR. What does WAR stand for again? Oh my God.
Wins above replacement.
There you go. Why was that not coming to me? Minus 0.7.
Yeah, that's not good.
Now comparing Verdugo to him, Verdugo hit .233 with 13 home runs in 559 at bats, and his WAR was 0.8.
Now, do let the fans know though, Stacey. Verdugo's average is .233 after he hit .272 through April, May, and June. So imagine how much it dropped and how bad he was in the last 3 months of the season to get that low. Yeah, Aaron Hicks, I don't think will get a job at some point. I think his playing days are over. He'll be golfing for the rest of his career. And that is not a disparaging comment towards Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks is a tremendous golfer. If you guys are aware of that. He's a very, very good golfer.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think... You always wonder, right? Aaron Hicks, wouldn't you kind of just rather be retired? Isn't this better for him? Like, he played enough to get a pension. He's got $100 million in the bank. He can now
He's 35. He's 35.
He lives in a mega mansion somewhere. He can take care of his kids and play golf all day. Like, this isn't the worst thing in the world for a guy like that, as opposed to being in New York and getting criticized every 5 seconds.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, not the wildest thing in the world.
Right.
Let's go to David F. for the second question. He says, given the current focus on the Yankees' needs at third base, how do you think the Yankees realistically view DJ LeMahieu? Boy, that's a tricky question. Like, because I don't know how they view it compared to how we view it.
Right. I think they view it, they view him more positively than we do, even with the injury. Like, they really want him to come back and do something, where we're just like,
Yeah, your expression, your facial expression is exactly how I feel about it. Like, yeah, if he comes back and plays great, I'll root him on, but like I'm not expecting anything out of him at all. And it feels like they are, that they're giving him full rehab, full go, full everything. They're like, all right, this was only a hiccup. The problem is, and you've said this a bunch, he hasn't picked up a bat yet. And this isn't a hiccup. I mean, this happened in spring training, going like, what, a week into spring training?
It was his second at bat. He had 2 at bats, and he hurt himself in a second at bat. So
he has to go through a whole regimented spring training again. This isn't like a 2-week absence, Stacey. He's going to be gone for what, till mid-May? At this rate, like he has to go through a whole spring training again. So power to him. You know, I'd work out this hard and play this hard if it meant $18 million was sitting there waiting for me too, instead of retiring. So he's going to try and play. I just don't know if the Yankees view it the same way the fan base views it.
Right. Thank you for the question, David. Now, this one is funny. Eric S. was not feeling well this week. And when I put out the message asking for Fanmail Friday questions, at first he said, I don't think I could do it this week. And then he changed his mind. And it says, changed my mind. Just a tough time with the Yanks, a diversion from politics, and a lost job. Sorry about that, Eric.
Yeah.
It won't happen soon, but eventually Brian Cashman will move on. And do you have someone you would like to see replace him? Thanks. And then he added, also, I need to know more about Stanton.
Well, we don't know more about him. That they're being very cryptic with that. I know they tried so hard to get the clickbaity people to go after this, and it didn't really work. When they tried to get, John Heyman released a report saying that Stanton also tweaked his calf. That meant nothing because the calf rehab was very minor and it was going to happen before the last PRP injection happened. So that was just a report to get Yankee fans to flip out more and be like, see, always hurt, which I didn't appreciate that report that came out. But anyway, I don't think they have even considered a replacement, to be quite honest with you. I don't think they have a guy in the waiting. This is not like Brian Cashman when he was with the Yankees prior to getting the GM
or
job.
A lady, because it could be Kim Ng. But you don't know.
But I don't think they even have that. They've even considered that.
Yeah.
I don't, honestly. So I don't think I have an answer for you. Because here's the thing. I'd love to tell you it's some up-and-coming, really great GM that's out there, like a David Stearns type, who they could go acquire.
I think the dude isn't even... I don't think he might be in high school yet. Yeah, he might be in high school or college at this point because they're going to keep Cashman until he
doesn't want the job.
Like 70.
No, I disagree. I think it's until he doesn't want the job.
Yeah,
that's it. Like until he decides he doesn't want to do this anymore.
Right, but I'm saying he's going to stay this way until I'm 70 at this rate. Like,
good chance. I mean, seriously, there's a good chance.
Yeah.
Ethan Miano says, do you think we could ever see a female MLB player? I'm confident that we will see more women in jobs surrounding baseball, such as trainers, hitting coaches, GMs, and maybe even owners. But is it too much of a stretch to think we could see the MLB as a male and female professional league? First of all, I'd rephrase the question, maybe even owners. No, definitely you could have a female owner, 100%. Like, females have every opportunity to make as much money as males do in this world, so I don't see why there couldn't be a female owner. I don't know if I think all of these jobs are definitely possible. I mean, trainers, hitting coaches, GMs, you've seen females that are managers in college levels and stuff like that too. So I don't see why that
umpires too.
It might take a decade or so, but I don't see why there wouldn't be a manager. I think we're less than 5 years away from a female coach in baseball at some level, at the professional level. I don't know if like we've seen it in the minor leagues, obviously. I mean, like a major league hitting coach or a pitching coach or something like that. I don't think we're that far away.
What did Alyssa Nakin do with the Giants? She was part of the big league team.
I think she worked for the strength and conditioning department, though.
Okay, but
I mean, like in the dugout role where she's making in-game decisions, third base coach, first base coach, something like that. Because I'm sure plenty of teams have females that are in their analytics department at this point. I wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, we don't know the ins and outs of who works for the Yankees analytics department, but I'd be stunned if there wasn't a female involved in that department. The departments have hundreds of people working in them, so there's got to be some girl who's really good at math that came out of Harvard that got a job there. So that wouldn't surprise me. When it comes to a female player, that one's a little different. And I've always had this conversation with people when it comes to sports of what is the sport where most likely you could fit a female player in. I do think this one's a little tougher. Like I've always said, I think there could be a female kicker in football. That could definitely be possible. Baseball is different because there's not a lot of opportunities for girls to play baseball throughout their entire life. So it's hard for a female to you can play baseball. I don't know what the age is, so excuse me for not knowing, but it's probably around 9 or 10 years old when they start splitting it up from softball to baseball, where girls can continue to play with the boys in baseball. And I don't know many leagues that are going to allow the girls to keep playing. And as the girl is progressing and becoming a major league type talent at baseball, how many high schools are going to let her play on the men's team? How many, like, is that going to keep progressing to that level? I don't know if there's enough opportunity simply out there for female baseball, for a female that's good enough at a major league level to keep playing into her, older teenage years. So I think we probably are a few years away, just societally, progressively, to getting to that point where girls can play baseball at a high level into their late teens, to the point where they can get drafted. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's the way I view it.
I don't really have much to say about how society's going right now and what things are looking like for women. So, like, right now, it looks like things are going backwards. So I think the chance for a lady baseball player actually may have disappeared at this rate.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation. Like when it comes to managing GM, all that kind of stuff. Like, absolutely. I mean, that just takes your brain. There's probably dozens and dozens and dozens of female managers that could be out there that are better than Aaron Boone right now. So I don't think that's much of a crazy statement. Player is different, though. It just is. There is the anatomy argument too. There's not many girls that are built like Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton. There just aren't. Like, you're going to have a different type of player that's in a female body too.
True. It's, I found it with golf, and I found it swinging a baseball bat. If you have a certain size here, it doesn't work very well when you're holding a bat or a golf club. So just saying. It's not impossible, but the likelihood of it happening soon, I think, is slim. Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. And if you would like to be part of next week's Fanmail Friday, post a reply underneath our pinned comment on every video Monday through Thursday. You can ask us anything, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, where you get top priority and your questions are answered in segment 1, or in this case, also segment 2. The link is in the description, and it isn't only for Fanmail Friday. You can get text from us. You can text us questions and comments. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a good time and a good group of people. Coming up next, more Fanmail Friday.
March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before, because right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets. Now, I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. Staying in on the action with FanDuel, games happening almost every day. There's always something exciting to bet on. It's also easy and fast. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when I win, I get paid out instantly with no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of ballpark food, which we'll be discussing in segment 3. If you're looking to go last minute, Gametime makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and the lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the stress out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game time gets closer, meaning that you can score an incredible deal as close to first pitch as possible. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and the home opener is next week, so I can count on them to help me grab my tickets that meet my needs. The Gametime Picks feature makes finding the best deals effortless, filters out the fluff, and highlights the top discounts in the stadium. And I love that I can preview my seat before purchasing. There's no bad surprises once I get to the stadium. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code ONEWORD LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, so one more insider question before we move on to YouTube. This is from Casey, who asks, what are your expectations for this coming season? Realistic and a crazy expectation.
So realistically, I'm going to say 90 wins. That's where I think they're at. I don't think they're the most dominant team in the major leagues, but I still think they're a good team. I still think they're going to score, and their pitching isn't completely terrible. Also, they have a really good bullpen. So I do think they're going to find their way to winning 90 games. Crazy? Could they, I guess, win? I mean, could they have a season like they did a few years ago where everyone in the world seemed to get hurt and they still found out a way to win 101 games? Maybe. I don't think that's likely, but I guess that could happen. I think this team has more potential to be good than it does bad. So I think there's a realistic chance they could win 90 games.
I don't know about 90, but realistically, people are just they're giving up on them already. And it's driving me nuts. I have friends who are giving up on them already. It's March 21st when this show goes up. Like, people act like they've never watched baseball before, and it drives me crazy. You don't know what's going to happen. Like you, all right. In some cases you do. With other teams, because their ownership doesn't do anything to make their team better. But the Yankees are always trying to make the team better, whether you think they are or not. And this team, as is, even without Cole and missing Heel for a while, like you said, they have enough pitching, hopefully, if people pitch the way they're supposed to. Also, Will Warren is pitching on Thursday night, probably his last tune-up before the season, and maybe he plays his way onto the team. I just think realistically, they're going to be better than people are thinking they're going to be right now. I'm looking more like 87, 88, not too far from 90. And crazy expectation? Ben Rice hits 25 home runs.
Oh, I didn't know we were going with player expectations. I don't hate that at all.
He leads the team. He leads the team in spring training. He has 5.
My worry is just play time. Is he going to get enough play time to be able to hit that many home runs? If you want a crazy one, Cody Bellinger gives him 120 RBIs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's
go to Vincent M. Durham. He says, do y'all think Major League Baseball should revamp the Major League Baseball draft? Example, the Los Angeles Dodgers get the number 1 pick, Phillies get the number 2 pick, and the Yankees get the number 3 pick. Keep up the great work, Stacey and Brian. No, I think that's an awful idea. Why are we trying to make the Dodgers better?
Yeah, like we don't need to help
they already
them.
are.
No,
like, they don't need any help.
They shouldn't have any picks.
Yeah, they're 2-0. They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
Plus, they have no problem finding studs at the bottom of the draft anyway.
Right.
So yeah, they're fine the way that it is. I get what you're trying to do. I don't hate a complete revamp of the draft. But to be honest with you, you don't see tanking is not a huge problem in baseball like it is in other sports.
Right.
Teams are not. It's too long of a season to be trying to intentionally lose games every single day. It may appear like the White Sox are trying to do that, but they're not. So it is. Teams aren't necessarily trying to win, but they're not trying to actively lose like it's happening in other sports. So I think more of the issue with baseball right now is financially what they command out of teams and what they don't, more what they don't command out of teams, rather than the draft.
Right. Next question from Kenny Grooms. Still want to trade Stroman?
This feels salty.
Yes.
This question. It feels like you're trying to get at us and you're trying to make us feel like we look stupid. I'm going to give you the answer that you're not looking for. Yes, I still would trade Stroman. It would open up $18 million in salary cap relief, allowing them to make upgrades in other positions. They can fill a number 5, a number 3, whatever it is, pitcher role. They're going to when Luis Heel gets back. I'm hoping Marcus Stroman gets off to a really good start this year and they have room to trade him, because again, it's not $18 million for this year they owe him. They really owe him another $18 million next year, because if he pitches in the 3-hole all year, especially with Garrett Cole being hurt, he's going to throw over 140 innings. There's a guarantee that happens. So no, Stacey, I'm not going to sit here and say that we look stupid saying to trade Stroman. I don't think he's a wonderful clubhouse guy. And I think he's one of those guys that if he doesn't get his way, he starts to freak out and cause problems with the team. And again, if you can find someone to take him, it doesn't just clear 18. Even if the Yankees have to eat 50% of the 18 million this year, they still save 18 million for next year. So, and that we've seen with them, that 18 million next year will hinder them from doing something. It will. And they're going to already have to give Devin Williams an extension next offseason. There's going to be money that's going to have to be spent. And you want to have $18 million off the books for a number 5 starter. You do. So yeah, if there's a trade partner out there, I would still trade Stroman right now. Natalie M40, if Tampa doesn't build a new stadium, that will cancel my retirement move. Do either of you have a baseball city that you would relocate or retire to at all? I don't know about you, but wherever I land, I need to have a ballpark. Good point. Really good point. Florida just has the worst baseball situation, weirdly, in the country. My city is San Diego. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, the number one reason why I didn't move to Wilmington, North Carolina in my 20s when I wanted to try and work in production down there was because where was I going to go watch baseball? Other than like maybe taking a road trip to like Durham to see the Bulls. But was I going to drive all the way to Atlanta? Was I going to drive all the way up to Baltimore and Washington, D.C.? No. So that was, I mean, honestly, because I had the partial season ticket plan at that point, and I was like, I can't give up my Yankee tickets.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this question is from a fellow Greek, New York Greek, 44. After Boone hit that heroic playoff home run in 2003 against Boston, months later, his contract gets voided after he injured his knee in a basketball game, which was a violation of his contract. Should the Yankees have taken that as a warning about his decision-making skills?
It's a good one. Yeah, no, they clearly didn't, but what a freak incident that was. I mean, the Yankees don't hold that against Aaron Boone because it led to them getting Alex Rodriguez.
Right.
So I don't think they'll ever hold it against him.
Right. But that's I had to include that. I thought that was really funny. I mean, and he did leave it under the pinned comment, and I thought, you know what? Well, we have to include that. That's funny. All right. Well, thank you guys for all of your Fan Mail Friday questions, and you can send them in for next week too. You guys know the drill. If you're an everydayer, join the Insiders Club or leave the question underneath the pinned comment Monday through Thursday. And if you're a newbie and you don't want to join the Insiders Club yet, leave the question under the pinned comment on YouTube. Coming up next, opening day is less than a week away, and there's a lot of really good-looking food at Yankee Stadium. We're going to tell you about it if you're listening, and we're going to show you it on YouTube next.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
So Yankee Stadium has new food offerings, and I saw some pictures, I saw some articles written about these things, and it's so bougie now. It's so bougie at Yankee Stadium. It is so funny seeing some of these food items. I put together a whole clip showing you some of them. You know, you have the people who have already been there. So Lobel's is still there. They have some new items though. You know, the halal guys, my favorite thing, they're still there. And Bobby's Burger's still there. So the Judge Burger, the 99 Burger is still there. But there are new food items, and I put together a clip here. So we're going to tell you what they are. But, oof, they look really good. Okay. This first item is a vodka lemonade. Those are street tacos. Those look really good. Mm-hmm. Those are the dumplings. There are 3 different types.
Oof.
Lobel's pastrami.
Terrific.
Lobster roll.
Not on a hot summer day.
That is a footlong hot dog covered with chicken.
Yikes.
Empanadas.
Yes.
That is a Jamaican beef patty.
Yes. Wow.
Pulled pork mac and cheese.
Oh.
The tiramisu in a helmet.
Nope.
Mr. Softy sundae in a helmet.
Oh.
And a Cubano sandwich, which looks really
interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. So those are the new items. Like I said, Lobel's, you know, they have things that have been around a while, but the pastrami is new. And I think the beef tip tater tots were new last season, if I'm not mistaken, but those sound really, the barbecue beef tip.
Yeah. I mean, some of this food sounds like a violent trip to the bathroom midway through the 6th inning, but other food is great. The only problem I think I want them to improve at the stadium is the lines. The pitch clock's been great and the game speed has improved. That is for sure. But Stacey, it has become a major problem now. If you get up to get food, especially one of these popular items, you're missing 3 innings. Yeah. So that has become an issue.
It's starting to, well, because everything is so quick now. It's like when the stadium first opened, the difference between the old stadium and the new stadium when you waited online was night and day. Just amazing. They also have something called the Change Up Kitchen. It's located in section 105. It will house a diverse selection of gourmet dishes from legends, including their porchetta sandwich, the lobster roll, rotisserie chicken. They'll have the Lobel's pastrami, and they'll have those empanadas. And throughout the season, they will debut new items on the menu, and it'll be a location for guest chefs to serve items and meet and greet fans. So
That's
like celebrity
incredible.
chefs are going to show up. So bougie at Yankee Stadium.
I wonder if this is the year that I do Legends. I still haven't done it. I know you splurged for it once. This might be the year that I have to do it.
It was amazing. It was.
Yeah, I've heard it's incredible.
It was. I'd never experienced. No, I shouldn't say that. I experienced something like that once in 2004 when I was my friend's +1 on a business trip out to LA, and we sat in the dugout suite in Anaheim. And that was like everything was brought to you. You could get whatever you wanted. They had a dessert tray. Like it was a whole thing. Where Legends, you know, it was opening day of 2009 when I went. And, you know, the girl came up, showed me the menu and said, you know, if you want to order something from the store, I'm like, the store? She's like, yeah, you know, if you want a jersey, you could pick something out and we can go get it for you and bring it to you. I was like, I want to be rich so badly. Like this is just amazing.
I've heard it's the food options down there too are unlike anything else. Like I've heard you have to get there like 2 hours early just to make it worth it with the food.
Well, what did I have? I had like some sort of steak with horseradish sauce at like 10:15 in the morning because it was opening day. They opened the gates early. Totally worth it. And it was a whole, like they had so many different things, but I'm a big steak person and I'm a big horseradish person. And I was like, oh yes. And I had like 3 servings of it because I had to. And I had some sort of like handmade chips with truffle and this and that. And oh, it was amazing, but that was 16 years ago when it first opened. So I'm sure that the food options have changed and probably have gotten better because I mean, the food options for us plebes is better. So it must be better for the rich people.
I will say, it still does disappoint me a lot that they built the new stadium, especially, hear me out, because of the way the renovations have gone in older stadiums now. Look at what they did with Wrigley. They essentially tore the stadium down other than the outer walls. And if you walk through Wrigley Field right now, it's a brand new building.
It was the suites. George wanted suite money. That's why.
I know, but they could have done that with
They could have turned the whole loge into suites.
Yeah, that's my point. Is you could have essentially ripped up the whole old stadium and just kind of in reality, you could have built the new stadium inside the old stadium, which is what they pretty much do with these stadiums now. That's what they've done with Dodger Stadium. They've done it with Wrigley. But the thing is, you can still say that you played in the same field that Ernie Banks played on because you're still in Wrigley Field. It still is the same ground. It still is the friendly confines. It's not across the street. It still is Wrigley Field. I don't know why they didn't do that with Yankee Stadium. It wouldn't bother me that Yankee Stadium is as corporate as it is now if it was still in the hallowed ground of the old stadium. The fact that it's across the street just changes everything.
I think it's because Wrigley is Wrigley, Fenway is Fenway. They both got renovated. They both got changed a little bit there. I mean, Fenway keeps adding things onto it all the time. Dodgers also, that stadium's almost 70 years old. Yankee Stadium, I think because of the renovation in the mid 70s, didn't have the same
flair,
historic flair that they were, you know, it wasn't the same. So I think the whole lore of a new stadium was, I mean, George had been trying to get a new stadium for
forever,
years at that point, like, you know, threatening to move to New Jersey, threatening to move to the West Side, like doing all this other stuff. And they basically had to placate him. And then with the combination of the Mets not wanting to play at Shea anymore and wanting a new stadium, it was like, all right, well, let's do this.
George had no attachment to the old stadium whatsoever. He didn't care. The fans did. I just wish for historical purposes they would have. I mean, you could have made the renovation look like the new stadium on the inside. Just say you're playing in the old walls of the old one. It would have made me feel a lot better about myself. It is what it is. It's just the days of a hot dog, pretzel, and a beer at the ball game has completely gone by the wayside. It has gotten so far to the extreme the other way.
So, out of those items that you saw, what do you think you would be willing to try?
I will 1000% be taking a few ganders to the lemonade stand, the signature cocktail. 100%.
I can't drink at games. I can't do it.
Oh,
I get lippy. I can't do it. I will tell a very quick story. The old stadium in my old seats, 5 rows above the dugout in the upper deck. The Yankees were losing badly to the Red Sox, and these kids moved down behind me. and they were making fun of the Yankees, and I was threatening them because I had a couple of beers, and my friends are like, "You need to stop." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to throw them over the upper deck." They're like, "You can't do that. They're 12." I'm like, "Well, they better shut up then." Okay. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't drink at games. I shouldn't drink at games. So then I decided we would go to games and then come back up to Rockland, because this is when I was still living at home before I moved into the city. And I would drink after games. I would drink after. I would, you know, I would drink Pepsi or whatever they had, and not drink beer, because no matter the age of the Red Sox fan, I would threaten them. And this was before the Red Sox even beat the Yankees in the ALCS. This was like, 2000 or 1999, when I was like, I'm going to throw you over the upper deck. And
the only that prime pastrami sandwich looked amazing. The empanadas look great. The only thing I would say probably stay away from, depending on the time of year you get it, like do the lobster roll April, May.
Oh,
once it gets to June, July, and August, you don't want to mix that mayo with the heat and sweating and stuff. So I would say some of these options, like the tiramisu in August, that sounds like a brutal drive home. Hoping you get home really fast, if you know what I mean. So I'd be really careful with some of these options.
What is I've never tiramisu does that? I had no idea.
Oh yeah, it's a desserty dairy kind of thing. I mean, most people have those kind of reactions to.
Oh, see, I don't. No, that doesn't. Yeah, no, that doesn't bother me. I could have one and be fine.
All right, well, good for you, because halal guys, I'm just saying, 6 beers at Stan's followed by halal guys and tiramisu sounds like
that would be a disaster. Yes,
yeah.
that would be, if you're in a car driving 100 on the highway to get off, either that or flying into a bush and hiding because there's no way you can make it to a bathroom. So we're not advising that. So don't eat too many things at the same time. Plus, they're probably really expensive. You can go to the Yankee site, go to the Yankee Stadium dining guide. It'll show you stuff. I'm not sure about the prices, but I'm assuming that they're
ridiculous.
They're ridiculous and expensive. And they also, it's not just bougie. You have the, chicken finger buckets, and you have the nacho cheese on the fries and all that. Like, you still have the regular stuff. It's a lot more bougie now. This is the world we're living in. So
I wonder if parking went up.
Guess we'll find that out next week.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't do that. We park up at Woodlawn and then take the 4 down.
Okay, I guess you could do that. Yeah, maybe I'll experiment with that this year.
Yeah, it's better to do that. It's too expensive to park at the stadium. There's something. If you've never been to Yankee Stadium and you come to New York, try to make it so you don't drive to the stadium. Take the subway. It's fine. You'll see tons of people with Yankee stuff on. You don't have to worry about the subway. It's not as scary as everyone says it is. There's my PSA of the day. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, you can find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. You can find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. I even have it there on screen. It says Watch Next, Locked On MLB. So go watch Sully. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you next week.